Good morning, students. Yesterday we discussed that the difference between the static identity and the dynamic identity. हमने ये देखा कि कंट्रीब्यूटर किस तरीके से डायनामिक आइडेंटिटी पर अप्रोच करता है, राइट? सो यहाँ पे केस स्टडी आपको दी हुई है. So Atul begins his career as a contributor, but as his career progresses, his static identity turns him into a non-contributor. कंट्रीब्यूटर की तरह उसने स्टार्टिंग की थी, शुरुआत की थी, बट जैसे करियर प्रोग्रेस के टाइम पे अपनी स्टैटिक आइडेंटिटी बनी रही, वो किस में कन्वर्ट हो गया? नॉन कंट्रीब्यूटर में. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट इट. Atul was a software coder. After working for many years on many complex projects, writing out many thousands of lines of code, testing, debugging, etc., he had become one of the best in his team. After a few years, when he was made the team lead, Atul felt recognized. He was respected by his team members because they found his technical inputs very valuable. Atul was also keen on supporting his team members with all the technical help because he felt I have been there and done it before. This was his domain. He knew that was to be done, had all the answers. His team did well under him. The organization then made him the manager of that division. Now he was expected to coordinate with clients and with different teams, ensure timely payments from the client, etc. After the promotion, Atul was pleased by the well deserved acknowledgement of his good work. 3 months into the new role, his boss called him for a discussion. His boss told Atul that the team leads working under Atul had complained that they were being micromanaged too much. They had no freedom to bring in their own thinking and innovation and were feeling restricted. Atul was puzzled and indignant. After all, he was doing no different from what he was doing earlier. They had liked his support then. If his working style brought him success earlier, then there is no reason that it should not work now. Atul continued with his way. He was busy all the time, getting involved in solving numerous small programming challenges of the team, doing the things that his juniors should have been coached to do instead. Because of this, Atul didn't have the time, so he ignored the larger responsibility that were now part of his managerial role. Clients were complaining, reports to headquarters were irregular, resources were mismanaged. Since Atul had been a star performer earlier, his boss gave him time to adjust. But even after 6 months, when there was no change, he had to admit Atul was not able to grow into the role of a manager. Atul thought he knew it all and was unwilling to learn the new way of handling things that was necessary in his new role. His boss was left wondering what to do with. तो यहाँ आपने देखा होगा स्टूडेंट्स, बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया गया है कि जब उसने पहले अच्छी अप्रोच थी उसकी, बहुत अच्छा, जब वो मैनेजर बना तो उसका जो ब्रॉड एरिया ऑफ वर्क जो था उसका, उसमें वो एडजस्ट नहीं कर पाया. वो अपनी एक लिमिटेशन जो पहले था वैसा की वैसा रह गया. उसने अपने आप को, नई रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज को उसने एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं किया. ओके, सो दिस इज कॉल्ड द स्टैटिक आइडेंटिटी, कि वो जो था उसी में बना रहा, उसने आगे अप्रोच नहीं की. ओके, सो यहाँ पे एक और आपको देखो स्टूडेंट सिनेरियो दिया गया है इंटरव्यू 1 में. जैसे हमने कल कहा था, स्टैटिक आइडेंटिटी वाला अपने सर्टिफिकेट अवार्ड तक ही रह जाता है, हिस्ट्री में ही रह जाता है. जबकि नॉन जो कंट्रीब्यूटर है, जो डायनामिक आइडेंटिटी अप्रोच करता है, उसके बाद वास्ट एरिया बन जाता है अपने आप को डिफाइन करने के लिए. तो यहाँ पे वही चीज दी हुई है कि इंटरव्यू का क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाई शुड वी हायर यू. तो एज पर स्टैटिक आइडेंटिटी जवाब क्या है? सर, प्लीज लुक एट माई मार्कशीट, दे टेल यू हु आई एम, ऑल्सो सी माई सर्टिफिकेट्स एंड अवार्ड्स. ठीक है, कहाँ पे स्टक रह गया वो? अपने सर्टिफिकेट और अवार्ड्स पर. बट instead of dynamic identity, the reply is your job offer of an analyst requires rigor in thinking and going deep into any subject. I think I have these capabilities because of the kind of research projects I have worked on in college. Further, I have practiced singing for 12 years. This has taught me the self-discipline and patience that is necessary in this job. Through football, I learned to work well in teams. Thus, I think I will be able to deliver the results you are looking for in this job. Okay. सो यहाँ पे एज पर डायनामिक आइडेंटिटी उसने कितना उसको अपने आप को डिफाइन करने का तरीका है, वो सिर्फ सर्टिफिकेट अवार्ड पर तक नहीं रह गया है. ओके, सो अब आते हैं, स्वामी विवेकानंद ने बहुत अच्छी चीजें कही है फॉर द सेल्फ आइडेंटिटी के रिगार्डिंग. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट. The power of identity. Swami Vivekananda speaks to you. Swami Vivekananda emphasized again and again that our self-image, our view of ourselves, our identity determines the way we behave and respond to life. He called his view this view of oneself as Shraddha or faith in oneself. If you have faith that you are capable of contributing, then that becomes the basis for developing a contributor personality. Okay. So what we want is strength. So believe in yourself. What we want is this Shraddha. What makes the difference between man and man is the difference in Shraddha and nothing else. What make one man great and another weak and low is this Shraddha. My master used to say, he who thinks himself weak will become weak, and that is true. The Shraddha must enter into you. So इसके रिगार्डिंग ये स्टोरी बताई गई है स्टूडेंट कि जब तक आप अपने आप को कमजोर समझोगे आप कमजोर ही रहोगे. दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द श्रद्धा. ओके. सो स्टोरी देखो आप यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी दी गई है. देयर इज स्टोरी अबाउट अ लायनेस हु वाज अ बिग विद यंग going about in search of prey and seeing a flock of sheep. She jumped upon them. She died in the effort, and a little baby lion was born motherless. It was taken care of by the sheep, and the sheep brought it up, and it grew up with them, ate grass, and bleated like the sheep. And although in time it became a big, full grown lion, it thought it was a sheep. One day another lion came in search of prey and was astonished to find that in the midst of this flock of sheep was a lion. Fleeing like the sheep at the approach of danger, he tried to get near the sheep lion to tell it that it was not a sheep but a lion, but the poor animal fled at his approach. However, he watched his opportunity and one day found the sheep lion sleeping. He approached it and said, "You are a lion, I am a sheep," cried the other lion, and could not believe the contrary but bleated. The lion dragged him towards the lake and said, "Look here, here is my reflection and yours." Then came the comparison. It looked at the lion and then at its own reflection, and in a moment came the idea that it was a lion. The lion roared, the bleating was gone. You are lions, you are souls, pure, infinite, and perfect. The might of the universe is within you. जब तक उसने ये सोचा कि नॉट आई एम नॉट अ लायन, है ना, तब तक उसके अंदर वो पावर आई ही नहीं. जब उसने ये माना कि यस आई एम द लायन, तब वो पावर आई उसके अंदर. ओके. सो ये डिफरेंस है आपकी श्रद्धा का. This is one great point to understand, and my friends, my brethren, no good comes out of the man who day and night thinks he is nobody. If a man day and night thinks he is miserable, low, and nothing, nothing he becomes. If you say, yeah, yeah, I am, so shall you be. And if you say, I am not, think that you are not. And day and night meditate upon the fact that you are nothing, and nothing shall you be. That is the great fact which you ought to remember. Believe in that infinite soul, the infinite power, which with concessions of opinion, your books and sages praise, that Atma which nothing can destroy in, it is infinite power only waiting to be called out. For here is the great difference between all other philosophies and the Indian philosophy. Whether dualistic, qualified, monastic, they all firmly believe that everything is in the soul itself. It has only to come out and manifest itself. सो स्टूडेंट ये था हमने जो डिफरेंस देखा सेल्फ आइडेंटिटी और डायनामिक आइडेंटिटी का. काफी सारे हमने एप्लीकेशन एग्जांपल देखे, इसमें केस स्टडी देखी हमने, और एक स्टोरी वाइज हमने समझा कि क्या डिफरेंस आता है आपकी सोच का. जब आप ये मान लेते हो कि यस यू कांट डू एनीथिंग, तब आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो. तो दिस इज, ये एक डिफरेंस बताया है मैन एंड मैन के बीच का, कि एक आदमी पावर में है, एक आदमी कमजोर है, तो क्या डिफरेंस है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस श्रद्धा. ओके. सो ये था हमारा the topic that is related to self identity. Okay, so thank you everyone.